Happy fucking Monday, bitches. Oh, wow. I cannot believe it's been so long since I've said that. I need to talk to you guys about what exactly all went down, why I stopped posting episodes of the podcast so abruptly. I'm sure everybody was thinking, oh my God, she just went to EDC and she got worn out and then blah, 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 blah. There is like a bigger story here, okay? And I'm sure most of you who listen are already following on my Instagram where I quite literally post every single detail of my life. So it's like, how much more are you gonna get? I'm gonna break it down for you. My periods and PMS have been insane. Oh, by the way, this is gonna be a little catch up before we get into this week's episode. I think you could already put two and two together, but it's been so long since I've done this, and I'm like, what are we doing? I don't even know. I went through a downwards spiral after coming home from EDC. My PMS and my periods, I thought over the last like 6 or 8 months had just been progressively getting worse, like crazy symptoms, extreme fatigue, and like exhaustion, like full body exhaustion. And sometimes I would relate this to like working out or maybe overtraining or being so like go, go, go. And it was just quite literally like overworking myself. Excuse me. But no, because not only fatigue, body exhaustion, mood swings, I'm not like crazy, okay? I like to like put on this persona that I'm like this crazy wild girl. I mean, I can get wild, don't get me wrong, but I'm not like psychotic crazy, you know? Although sometimes I wish I was, because you know when you look back on situations and you're just like, I wish I would have reacted that way, because like Beyonce said, jealous or crazy, we'd rather be crazy, right? Total sidetrack. Turn it back around. Also, missing a nail. Hi. So I don't like, when I say mood swings, I'm not like fucking screaming and down people's throats. Like I do feel that like inner rage, but I'm not like a yelling kind of person. It's more like the sadness. Like I just go into a downward spiral. What did I say? I slipped and fell into the darkies. Like downward mudslide spiral, sad, crying. Like I remember coming back from EDC, which I didn't even recap or anything, and we're not even going to go back there because so much time has passed. We are just moving to the future. I remember coming back from EDC, and we were driving home, and this was like my PMS week. So typically were all these symptoms when I start feeling them. I'm like crying over everything. I'm watching like wholesome videos on Instagram crying, like moms talking about their kids crying, their kids like having successes in school or in sports, crying, full body reaction, tears, like in my phone, at my phone, watching people like live their dreams and like have successes, bawling, crying. And then I had a couple days off and was just trying to get my body to recover because I was so fatigued and exhausted, obviously, because it was like a 4-day crazy party. But it lasted like through my PMS, through my period, which was probably like 10, maybe 12 days in total. And it was the mood swings, it was the fatigue, then it would be night sweats, irritable, like sleep, what else? Hot flashes. Dear Lord, the fucking hot flashes. I've always kind of had hot flashes since I've got off of birth control, but I just thought like, oh, it's just hormones, whatever. Then I just realized like I was down for so long. Like seriously, I think it was 3 weeks I was having to physically pull myself out of bed, like just to work. And thank God I work from home. But even then it was like hard. There was like a full week where I wasn't even like talking to my clients during the service. I like, you know, those weeks, my lash artists who are listening, they know, where you're just like, I'm going to say hi, hello, how you doing? I'm going to put these iPads on. I'm going to pop my headphones in and I'm just going to disassociate because I don't even want to be here. And, you know, that's just not who I am as a person. And it was like so bad to the point where like as soon as I started feeling better, I was PMSing again. And I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Now, in the past, I had found out that primrose oil helps with PMS symptoms. Fucking Google it. I'm not a doctor. All I know is this is what worked for me. I would start taking it before my PMS week, and it would completely minimize the symptoms. Now, these last couple of months, totally forgot to take it. Just forgot to like add it into my regimen, and I felt the wrath. I felt the fucking wrath. And if the men who listen made it this far, the episode's gonna get better. You can just skip this whole intro. That's fine. So I just started picking up on all of these, and it's so funny. I was talking to my man, and he's like, "This has been going on for about 2 years," and I'm like, "What? Really? It's been this bad for 2 years?" I'm like, "That's crazy." Me, like living in the land of delusion. And we had been talking about getting my hormones done or tested to see like what's going on. Now, some of these things that I've talked about on my Instagram that I'll lightly mention quickly is my mom went through menopause early, and apparently that could be genetic. I'm 29. That's crazy. So obviously that's like a concern. She also was on birth control for a decade and thinks that could have contributed to something. And when I started thinking about all of these factors, I really started to realize that all of these things started adding up when I got off birth control. I was also on birth control for like 9 years. I think it would have actually, 9 full years. It would have been 10, but the year that I was pregnant with my son, I wasn't on birth control. Fun fact, I got pregnant on birth control, so just gonna throw that out there. I was the 1%. It is real, we are here. And obviously, when I was on birth control, I got on because my periods were so bad. Like when I was 16, they were like, I remember like missing days of school, like hunched over cramping, just having like the worst time, like not being able to get out of bed and shit. So I got on birth control, fixed that. After I had my son, I got back on, and it was religiously on for like 6 more years. And I just started realizing, like, once I was connecting these dots, that I got off of birth control about 3 years ago. My man says these hormonal mood swings have been happening for about 2 years. About 3 years ago, I like backtracked. That's when I actually gained more weight, because I'm assuming because of the change in my hormones. And it's interesting because my doctor at the time told me that getting off birth control, I should actually lose weight, but in the sense I actually gained, and since have struggled to lose the weight that I've gained. Listen, we all have goals. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, poor me, whatever, but we all have personal goals, and I feel like I've been working really fucking hard to achieve them, and it has just been so difficult. I have updates for that later, but that's a totally different conversation. So to wrap this long story short, I finally got in touch with a doctor, a hormone doctor. He's been in the business for like 30 years, and my understanding is that he does biogenetic hormones, and that could be the wrong term, but that's like what's coming to my head. But the way he described them is that they're natural, and so they like mimic your natural hormones in your body. Before we get to the hormones, we had to get tested to see what was going on. I was like pleasantly surprised that everything came back. Like, I'm a pretty healthy human being. And it's like one of these weird things because you have all these like symptoms. So a piece of me wanted to be like, well, I want something to be wrong because I want there to be an answer, you know? But then the other piece of me is like, well, if something's wrong, that means I'm premenopausal. What? I'm 29. Are you kidding? So then I'm like, I don't want anything to be wrong. And so I'm like stuck in between this place of like, I'm not really sure how to feel. My hormones did come back. Apparently I am low in testosterone. They typically, this is like what my doctor had said, so I'll just give you a little rundown, but they give you a range for your age and like where you are as like a woman and depending on like where you are in your cycle. And so they give you a range because our hormones are literally changing like day to day, week by week, which is so different from guys. But they give you this like gauge of where you're at. And so there's a low end and a high end. And I am at the low end of testosterone. That was like the one red flag, which could be a direct like reason as to why I'm feeling like low libido, fatigue, struggling to lose weight. Like some of these things make sense for having low testosterone. Which is kind of crazy. I just come back and I'm like a full man. So I was chatting with my doctor and he wants to put me on hormones. And the hormones that we're doing, they're like lozenges. And I have to take them twice a day, every day. And it's going to take, he gave me a 90-day supply. So he's going to take, it's going to take a couple months to like regulate or to like see the effects. And he said that we should start to notice some of these things changing around my PMS and my periods, like those crazy mood swings, fatigue, you know, everything else that I've listed should start to go away with the increase of hormones that we're doing. The dose is so low. I think I'm doing like 4 milligrams twice a day. And in comparison to like a man that would take testosterone is upwards of 200 milligrams a day. So that makes me feel good. Like it's obviously a collaborative experience. We have to communicate. Like I have to tell him how I'm feeling, what's going on, if I notice any difference in things. But you know what a fun, crazy fact that he told me when we were doing this virtual visit is he said that majority of doctors, like a general doctor, would look at those results for most women and be like, oh, everything's fine, you're within range. And he also said that if the women keep coming back and being like, well, I keep feeling this way, like all of these symptoms, typically those doctors prescribe antidepressants. They're not even like, it is so crazy to me to be like misdiagnosed and being prescribed an antidepressant when you're not even depressed is wild. For a doctor not to listen and be like, okay, what could we do to make this better? Because yeah, it's within range, but like, I want to feel like a spring fucking chicken. I'm 29 years old, but so like, if I should be at a higher range, I want to be at a higher range. So I say this story to say that if this is something that you resonate with, or you reached out to me when I posted about this on my Instagram and you wanted more info, unfortunately, my doctor is not taking any new clients. I will try to come up with like a referral for you guys, but I would do research and make sure that you're going to a specialist, maybe someone even that is a naturopath. My doctor is a naturopath doctor, which is great. So they're going to look at like the root of the issue and not just prescribe pharmaceuticals to like mask the problem. Also, make sure you find a doctor that's going to like listen to you and take you serious and take the time to like listen to you repeat yourself and ask 1,700 questions. Like make sure they generally care, because our healthcare system, unfortunately, is not made for us, women especially. I mean, for most people, but for especially women. So that's my little update. I'm kind of excited, kind of nervous. I'll keep you guys posted about how it all goes. If you notice that my voice gets deeper, let me know. That was a really long story. A shorter side to things, I had to let go and let God when it came to the podcast, because I, as you know, was studying to be a certified personal trainer. I'm taking my exams this week. So I'm like, I had to cram my ass off because, you know, knowing me, a Libra, I like to give myself my own problems, and I procrastinated until I had about 3 weeks left, and then I had to finish like 60% of the program. So I was like, you know what? I gotta let the podcast go. I gotta be okay with it. We will be back and we'll be better than ever. and I have to focus on this next transition because I'm just really excited to start helping people and changing lives and like being inspiring and encouraging to people in more ways than just making them laugh, but actually genuinely making them feel better about themselves from the inside out. Okay, let's get into this fucking episode.
Girl, stop talking. All the shit that people are thinking but not saying. I'm not even like drunk. I've just been like drinking. Are you still talking? Girl, stop talking.
Today's episode is going to be super fun. We're back into dating, relationships, my perfect little niche, my solid advice, my life experience, and my comedic twist. No. We are fucking back. I'm excited to talk about today's topic. You guys voted on my Instagram, so you got to pick it. I've had so many write-ins. Thank you. I didn't have to bully you guys too hard, okay? And today's topic is green flags in dating. But you know, they wouldn't be green if they weren't red first. Okay. So, red flags. Let's explain that a little bit. I'm sure most of us know, but for the young ones that are still experiencing this chaotic point in your life, a red flag, okay? A red flag is something that makes you go, ugh, but you ignore it because, you know, delusion. And a green flag is something that makes you feel like this person has their life together, like they're being honest, they're emotionally mature. So, of course, we wouldn't be able to have one without the other, because when it comes to dating, we are navigating these experiences to try to find our match, our person, our twin flame, our soul tie. What are some other ones? Whatever. You get the point, okay? I was sitting here thinking, I'm like trying to think back to like my first ever red flag. When I think back on dating, it's so interesting to me, and I'll be so honest with you. Like, I wish I had this podcast when I was a serial dater, because the amount of time that I have spent or I had spent dating was insane. And now I'm here talking about it like in a healthy relationship, and like love that for me. But it would have been so much more fun, wild, and chaotic if you guys were like along with me during my dating stories. I mean, we could have just really popped off. I'd be lying if I didn't say, I wish I could have one more moment. Sorry, babe. I hope you're not listening. No, I'm kidding. So I was trying to think back on like, what was my first red flag experience? And the first thing that popped into my head was, in high school, I had this boyfriend, and well, he said he was my boyfriend. But it was weird because like, he asked me to be his girlfriend, but then when we would hang out, he wouldn't talk to me. But we would text all the time. And I thought it was weird looking back, because I'm like, I feel like that's a red flag. Like, why can't you have a conversation with me in person? And there was this weird energy, and people obviously picked up on it, because I remember someone specifically like called us out in front of everyone being like, you guys think you're dating, but you can't even have a conversation. And I'm like, no, he's so right, because why can this guy only talk to me via text, or like when he's fucked up, like when he's drunk? And I don't know if that came from like being, what's the fucking word? I can never think of the words that I want to say, I swear to God. I don't know if he was like shy around me. I mean, I had plenty of people tell me like how much he loves me and all this stuff, but I'm like, why won't he tell me? Like, we can't even have like a conversation. I don't know, it was fucking weird. And then like most of the men I've dated are red flags. They are red flag. They are waving their red flags so high in the air, and I was just literally quite literally delusional. I'm like, whatever. I just want to be loved. Which ended up in a complete fucking shit show per 2 episodes ago. Episode 99, my toxic relationship. And I remember thinking, so now I'm going to swap it. I remember thinking about green flags, like what are some green flags? And I remember having this conversation with one of my girlfriends way back in the day, and it made me die laughing. She was like, yeah, I'm like talking to this guy, he's older, and you know what, he has a dog, and we just started dying laughing. And he's like, yeah. She's like, he's a good guy because, you know, he like has a dog. It's like someone he has to care for. He has to like be home and take care of it. She's like, I feel like that's a green flag. And we were like dying laughing because, I mean, partially true, but it's like, I was like, it's not hard to take care of a dog because like I'm a natural like caregiver. But I feel like there are a lot of shitty men that can take care of dogs. So maybe not a good example, but I do think it was a funny one. When I look back on my personal dating experiences, I don't even know if I could tell you that there were any green flags. They were mostly felons, degenerates, party friends, people I wasn't allowed to hang out with, in prison. Got a restraining order, you know what I'm saying? I would say those things are red flags. So like from the red flag side, I got you, girls. I fucking got you. From the green flag side, maybe I'm not the one to give advice. No. I didn't know what a green flag was until this current relationship that I was in. Quite literally the only healthy relationship that I've been in my life, which is why I'm like holding on to it. Like his balls in my hand, just like, grr, no, you're not leaving me. Cause I'd find you. Name the movie, if you know, you know. And then it's funny, we were like, my man and I, we were talking last night about like dating and dating in elementary school. And even though I wasn't alive when he was in elementary school, he was sharing a lot of stories with me. And I was like, you know, I can't even be mad, can't even be jealous. It's quite literally not even a thought put into existence. And I was thinking back to, there was only one other guy that was like a green flag that I dated, and it was the guy that I lost my virginity to. And I know I have shared the story in an episode in the past, so I won't go into that right now, but shout out to him. He was a very good guy, and I am grateful that I had a good experience and not a shitty experience like half of my friends. There are so many people that I know that their like virginity stories were so horrible, and some even like close friends of mine. And I think back to that, I'm like, well, maybe it was all worth it. Like I may have a green flag virginity story, but I have never dated a green flag since then. But you know what? I think it was also karma, because in the same relationship, that guy was so good to me, and he gave me the ick before I even knew what the ick was. And it was because, this is so fucked up. Oh my God. We were dating for a couple of months. Everything was going great. And I just remember he would look at me like he was in love with me, and it gave me the ick. And like, if that doesn't say childhood trauma, I don't know what does. Okay. And it was on Valentine's Day, and I just kept remember being like, why the fuck is he looking at me like that? Like, why is he staring at me like that? This is like so weird. And I literally just was like closing up, getting clammy, drier than the Sahara Desert. Like, I just didn't understand, I think, what was really going on. I fully got the fucking ick, and then I broke up with him that night on Valentine's Day. It was bad. And then, you know what? I got my karma, because I dated so many shitty guys after that. Never had a good Valentine's Day until my now current relationship. But enough about me. Let's get in to some otherwise known red flags. Okay, I did us all a favor, and I decided to break these red flags down into 4 categories. Here we go. The first category, communication. So these are things like takes forever to text you back, but is always active on Instagram. We all know 3 people just came into our mind. Listen, I would say that this is a red flag, but not necessarily a deal breaker depending on who the person is. But if you know, you know. Name calling, okay? Yelling, these are all red flags. I think some of these are more specific to if you're in relationships. I think if you are dating and the person that you're dating is already calling you names and yelling at you in the slightest inconvenience, that is a deal breaker and a sign to get the fuck out of there. The inability to have an adult conversation or resolve a conflict, red flag, not necessarily a deal breaker. I think, again, this is more towards like dating and if you're like in a long-term relationship. If they are open to learning, if they're open to going to therapy, if they are a logical person and can understand like, you know, this goes for both people. Like if you have two people in the same relationship that can't have a simple conversation and or resolve problems, it's never going to work. But I would say yes, red flag. Lying for no reason. This is crazy. This one is so funny to me because I had an ex, my crazy one that I talked about in a couple episodes ago. He did this. He would quite literally lie for no reason. And one of the lies was he's never been to the beach. When we were in this relationship together, that was what he told me. Oh, I've never been to a beach. And so we went to Rocky Point and we were there for a whole weekend. We have pictures. I have a picture of him like at the beach. And then our relationship came crashing, burning down in a full forest fire, house on fire motion. And the girl that he was dating that lived in my apartment complex at the time, I'm not sure if I shared that on that last episode. Anyways, they started dating and apparently they went to the beach and she posted a picture of him on her Instagram saying, took him to the beach for the first time. And I'm just like, why are you lying? Like, do you just want women to take you on beach trips? I don't know. That's crazy to me. And there are so many more. These are just the ones that I'm going based off of what you guys wrote in. So our next category is boundaries. Still texts the ex. Red flag. Can't respect your alone time? Listen, I always say there are 3 parts in a relationship. You, your partner, and your relationship. One of those parts is you and your alone time. That is a huge red flag. Keep an eye out because that usually comes with other controlling behaviors that are not so fun, like the next one. Gets upset when you make plans with your friends without him, or better yet, doesn't like any of your friends for no reason at all. Refers to your friends as sluts or whores, or I know you guys hooked up in the past and you lived together, so you must be scissor sisters. You can tell some of these are really hitting home. Being a mama's boy or letting the mother invade your relationship. Yikes, have not had to deal with that. Huge red flag if this is a long-term partner and you guys decide to create a life together. I'm a firm believer in like, yes, this is the woman that raised him. However, you're the person that is with him and mama's got to step back and he's got to have your back. Because when you are in that relationship, what did we say? There are 3 parts to a relationship. You, your partner, your relationship. Mama bear, mommy wasn't in there. Okay. And the next category is values and lifestyle. Wow, I am like talking with my hands so much, flipping the hair. Girl, please. Values and lifestyle. Doesn't believe in therapy or talk shit about people that go. This is a deal breaker. This is bigger than a red flag. It is so fucking red that it is cracked in half and just exploded in your face. Total fucking deal breaker. If the person that you are with or someone that you are dating doesn't believe in therapy, they're just too afraid to go because they don't want to get called out on their own bullshit. I am a firm believer that if you're in a relationship with someone and they refuse to work on your relationship, that is a deal breaker. That relationship will never work no matter how hard you try, baby girl. Sleeps with his mattress on the floor. You guys, this is like high school. What is happening? The other one. Doesn't have sheets on his bed, okay? Listen, I know some of us millennials, we are not top sheet people. My man, I'm sure, looked at me when I didn't have a top sheet as a red flag. Maybe it was an orange flag. I definitely still had a fitted sheet on my bed and 14 pillows, but I was never like a sheet sleeper. If he doesn't have sheets on his bed and the mattress is on the floor, you are a walking red flag. You can literally get your bed off the floor for like $50, okay? And I don't mean using cinder blocks. Skirt. This is one of the ones that I wrote in because yes, I do be writing in on my own stories sometimes. Has a child but doesn't have any sign of the child being in the home. I cannot tell you how many guys I dated that were dads but didn't even have a room for their kid. In their room, there was like no separate bed. There wasn't toys. There's not clothes in the closet. And I'm just sitting here like as a single mom at the time, as an independent mom at the time, being like, you're a dad, but where does your kid sleep? Where is your kid at? Huge red flag. An abundance of shirtless pictures online, red flag. Loves himself way too much. Thinks he's way too cool and way too hot. And let me just say, a man that is portraying all of that online, you don't even want, because he has to like you more than he likes himself, you know? Otherwise, it's never gonna work. Repost too many quotes or memes online for attention, like when they're going through something. Like, you know, when someone's going through something because they post a quote being like, "To the light and the moon and the stars, I will guide you to your next path." And then the next one's like, "I've been so sad, I can literally eat my cereal with my tears." Whatever, you know what I mean? Still goes to the clubs regularly in their 30s. Okay, listen, we love a good club night. This is giving DJ, bottle service girly. If it's your work, maybe you get a pass. Still probably a red flag. Like, you gotta date someone that's doing the same kind of thing. It is funny how, like, when you get into your 30s, like, life just changes so much. I remember, like, early to mid 20s, up in the fucking club. I was just telling Chance the other day, he was like wanting to go to Old Town or something for 4th of July for one of the events at Maya, and the tickets were like $140. And I literally texted him and I'm like, this is like the moments that I miss being a club rat or a bottle rat. Because I used to know so many fucking people down there. I never had to pay for shit. And that was what was so great. You're in the know, you know people, you can get in, it doesn't matter. But you know what? We grow up. We fucking grow up, girl. Oh, and then this is like a big one. Doesn't have any friends. Listen, the psycho people cannot keep close relationships. This goes for men, this goes for women. You will notice that they're always the ones playing victim. Maybe they don't have close, genuine friends in their life, or they just literally have none. And it's like, spooky. You gotta watch out for that. The last category for red flags is probably, they are red, but they are exploding. They are a ticking time bomb, okay? Love bombing and inconsistencies. Giving hot and cold energy, okay? Like they act obsessed with you 1 week or for like 3 days, and then there's minimal to zero effort the next week. They're mixed words and actions, like makes plans with you, and then the day for like a couple days, then you don't really hear from them, and then the day comes around, you may not hear from them at all, or they completely fucking ghost you, and then they come back around like 7 to 10 days later thinking like you're not going to remember that he made plans or she made plans and then you never heard from that person again. I hate this too. Gasses you up about how good of a person you are when they barely even know you. Or I just thought of another one. When you're out with them and all they do is talk about themselves, like they're not engaging in any conversation with you. They only talk about themselves, and then when it's your turn to talk or you have a moment or explaining a story, they like interrupt you, or they even try to fucking lean in for a kiss. I cannot tell you, that has happened to me where I'm like, I don't know if this guy just has severe ADHD and like doesn't know how to stay in one lane of the conversation, but I don't even know what we're talking about anymore because I haven't been able to get a word in, and then he's just gonna lean in at the table and I'm like, lip gloss. We're really hitting it with the references today. Says I'm a good guy. Oh my God. If someone has to tell you anything about their characteristics as a person, run, scream, leave, evaporate, eviscerate, get the fuck out of there. Nope, skirt. We're done. We're done. And then the last one I have, which I love that we're talking about it. Selective honesty. Oh my God. Let me explain. This is the person that will like share vulnerable stories, but like won't give you like access to easy information. Like they'll tell you about their childhood. They'll go deep into like their traumas and their exes, but they won't like explain to you what they do for a living or tell you how old they are or who they're texting at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? It's like kind of weird. It goes right back along to lying about never going to a beach before. You know what I mean? So now that we've gone through the worst, we saved the best for last. Let's get into green flags. These ones, not as fun as the red flags because, you know, we all love a red flag. Some of us may even say our favorite color is red. Mine is now pink. I went from, no, I can't say that, never mind. Anyways, let's move on to the green flags. These are wholesome. We love them. We live for them. We can't get enough of them. When you're in this kind of relationship, you know, it's just like, oh, this is what we dreamed for. This is what we've been waiting. This was why we ended up with all these red flags, because the desperation was just oozing off of us that we accepted the bare fucking minimum. Okay? So, anything less than this, goodbye. Green flags. I also categorize these into 4 categories. The first one is communication and accountability. Clear about their intentions. They will tell you something and they will literally do that something. Like, you know, I really like you. I want to see you again. And then the next day they follow up. When am I going to see you? How can I see you again? Or they even say, like, I honestly think it's a green flag if they're like, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure if I'm looking for a relationship right now, but I'm open to seeing what happens. Now, that has to be followed with other criteria because the red flag fuckboys will try to use that one too. Don't let that happen to you. Okay, can express their emotions. God damn, a man that can express his emotions. Listen, we're not saying he needs to be crying at the dinner table, okay? He doesn't need to be tearing up in the background calling his mom like, I'm sorry. But can genuinely say like, hey, when you said that, it made me upset. Or, you know, I feel uncomfortable by that comment, or whatever the case may be, man or woman. Doesn't make false promises for so many things, like talking about the future. Maybe you guys have been dating for a while and it's like, oh yeah, I want to take you on this trip, and actually follows through with the trip. We love that. Which brings me to the next one. Words and actions align. There's follow through. What he says is what he does. You don't have to second guess. You're not sitting there like wondering or making up excuses or like, well, you know, he had a long day at work and his grandma just died for the third time this year. And I'm not sure. I think maybe I'm being a little too hard on him. No, you're lying to yourself. Okay. Whoa, let's take it back. Can put themselves in your shoes. Like if you're upset or you have a conflict and they can remove their thoughts and their side of it and be like, okay, let me actually try to understand where she's coming from. Or, you know, I'm just using this as, you know, woman-male relationship, but it goes anyway. Can admit they overreacted or made a mistake. This is hard for everyone. This is a green fucking flag. If someone that can admit that they're wrong, oh my God, in relationships, in friendships, in working relationships, like it takes so much to be like, I thought about it and I actually fucked up. And, you know, I understand why you're upset with me. Oh my God, could you imagine what a better life we'd all live if everyone could just be a little more autistic? I'm so for real. Like, actually say what they're fucking thinking. Okay, next one is emotional security. Okay? They embrace individuality. They don't always have to be around. They understand you're going to have girls' nights. You're going to go on trips without them. You have a life outside of this person or their relationship. Green fucking flag. My man, we are just talking. This is crazy to me because I had a boyfriend who wouldn't let me drive his truck. And my man, we were just talking about him being out of town for a weekend that we're going to go boating. And he asked me if I was going to take the boat without him. What? I'm sitting here like, you're going to let me take your boat, our boat, without you? That's crazy. But honestly, I'm like, that's like his baby. I mean, it's our baby. We like fell in love on that boat. It is a piece of both of us, you know? What's his is mine, and what's ours is mine. What's mine is mine. But I thought that was crazy. Literally from all my other relationships, like my last boyfriend wouldn't even let me drive his car. And this man is going to let me take his boat without him for a weekend. Blew my fucking mind. Cheers for your wins. Like something good happens to you or you have a project or a passion that you're starting and they're supportive and they're supporting those dreams and those goals and like genuinely like, what can I do to help? Like, do you just need me to listen? Can I get you this thing? And shows up for you in that way. Oh my God. A man that like tells you or you tell them that you want to do something and they're like, hey, I got you this. Like, I know that this is going to contribute to XYZ. It's like, wow, you're really listening. You really love me. Not threatened by your confidence. You know, I had someone tell me that because of how confident I am, they thought I was bullying them. That was crazy. Girl, that shit was crazy to me. I'm like, having someone in your circle that's threatened by your confidence, they're going to see that as like a personal attack, whether it's a friend or a man or a coworker or a boss. Like people see confidence as a threat and it comes with jealousy and envy and disgust and all of these other crazy emotions that generate from quite literally an insecurity in themselves. But they push it onto you as if like you're the problem because of how confident you are. Do not date someone like this. If they are threatened by you at all, baby girl, it's not gonna be good. So find a man that literally knows who you are because they've seen it. That's why they like you. That's why they started dating you. Not like this whole bullshit where they see how you show up online and in person, and then you get into this relationship and they're asking, why are you wearing a crop top? Like, bitch, I've worn crop tops for 10 fucking years. I'm never gonna not wear one. I have fake titties and I might even wear a fucking push-up bra. And some guy might compliment me and I might say thank you and give him a smile. And if you don't fucking like that, you're not the one for me, boo-boo. I'm having so much fun with this episode. I want to just say, I really felt like I needed to come back with a banger, and I feel like this is a banger. I'm impressed with myself. Category 3. Oh wait, yeah, effort. I love this. These green flags are like those sweet little things. He plans dates and experiences. He listens to you. Can you imagine? Imagine that. A man that listens to you. Like, genuinely. And asks you follow-up questions. Girl. He knows your restaurant order. He knows your Starbucks order. He knows what you like at Chipotle. And then helps with the little things. Like, makes you coffee in the morning. Or knows that you don't want to wake up to a dirty house, so goes out of his way to clean up the dishes, load the dishwasher, fold your laundry. You know, my man does my laundry. That sounds crazy. His water up here is so much better than the water at my house, and so I bring my whites up here, and he does my whites and folds them and puts them into the most gorgeous little packages. I mean, and he loves it, but he really do be loving laundry. And I do all the rest of my laundry. But just things like that, you know, it's like picking up the slack because you know that your partner would want the same. You know that it's going to contribute positively to your relationship. Like, I know when I come here, I'm treating my man's house like it's my home too. I don't like to go to bed with dirty dishes in the sink. I like to have a clean kitchen when I wake up in the morning so that I don't have to clean it in the morning because I don't like leaving dishes in the sink. My man is the same way, you know, or like he's literally gotten me into facing everything forward in my cabinets. It's psychosis, I know. But like, I do those little things because I know he loves it and I know no one else is doing it for him. And same for me. He brings me coffee. Well, I'm not drinking coffee anymore, but he would bring me coffee. He does those little things. He does my whites. And the last category is social. Okay? This is from like social environments to quite literally social media. Doesn't use filters. I am so glad someone said this. Okay, first of all, if a man is using a filter, that is a gay man. No. Or an insecure gay man, okay? Get the fucking filters off your face. It is 2025. Train an AI, okay? If you want to look better, use your fucking chat GPT to make your face look better. Because the filters, girl, I cannot. Even if you're a girl, I can't. I cannot with the filters. I think I'm pretty sure I've done a video like this on my Instagram. I cannot with my hot ass friends using filters on their face. I don't like it. It's like, girl, you're gorgeous. You don't need a filter. Why are you putting the filter on your face? I don't get it. I don't like it. I feel like that was supposed to be a red flag. Oh, wait. Okay, no. I got confused. I backtracked. Okay. It's a green flag when they don't do it. Yeah, okay. I told you I was going to have more reds than green. I really just confused myself in real time. That was funny. Watches your reality TV shows with you. I would love that. Listen, my man does a lot of really good things. He does not watch my reality TV shows with me. That's actually one thing that we can't do in our relationship because he will just talk and it's like to the point where I don't want to be a cunt. So I'll just pause it and I'll just look at him and I'll be like, yeah. And then he knows like, okay. I'm like, I don't want to miss it. You're invested. So like, girl, you found a good one if they watch that reality TV show with you. You found it. Hold on. Clutch them tight. Doesn't have social media. Good luck. It's far from few, let me tell you. But I bagged one also. Green flag. Very, very green. No question. No notes. Last but not least, listens to you vent about your weekly life drama, your friend drama, and fully invests their time, asks follow-up questions. Understand that they know that they can't fix it, that you just want to vent and they need to be there to support and be on your side, even if you might be the one in the wrong. But that is a conversation for another day. They just need to listen right now. That is green, girl. At the end of the day, know what you deserve. Trust your gut. Stop making excuses. And don't let the bare minimum fool you into thinking that it's a green flag. Okay? Next week's episode, we're going to be back with Chance. You're going to get the dynamic duo. And we're really gonna do just a full fucking catch up. We have not even hung out with each other in like 2 months, okay? So we have stories, we have updates. We're doing a full fucking girls chat catch up episode. And we have a lot of fun things coming up that we're gonna share. I feel like I'm always saying that, but like, we're back, okay? We're back, we're in motion. We're coming to you weekly every Monday and we can't fucking wait. So share this to a friend. Go subscribe on the YouTube. If you see any content or clips about this episode specifically, please repost, please tag someone. We really just need to get the audience, a bigger audience, more eyes, more views, more people, more love, you know? Happy fucking Monday, bitches.
Are you still talking? Girl, stop talking.